I really like to talk about titles. I think they're fun and they're so important because they're really that you've heard about first impressions make a big difference. So, titles are your first impression as a writer with your readers. So, they're so important. I think they're really good to um, think about at the maybe at the throughout the process, but especially to at the end of the writing process, because by then you know exactly what you want to accomplish with whatever it is you're writing, and you're ready to presumably make a title that accomplishes those ends. As you're thinking about crafting effective academic titles, you want to think about the academic writing context. So, titles that are effective in other contexts, like in fiction, nonfiction, creative writing, poetry, um, blogging, online, other kinds of online writing, email titles, subject titles. Those are all various different kinds of contexts. For academic writing, titles are used for a particular purpose. And we want to think about what that purpose is. Primarily, the purpose is that the title is going to go into an online catalog or a database where people, other researchers, are going to be looking through a variety of different titles and thinking about which ones are going to teach them what they need to know or teach them something they didn't know they needed to know. So you're trying to lure in readers, but you're also trying to be very informative about what this research is so that other scholars who are very busy can identify which are the useful articles. Again, create or review your title at the end of the writing process. Sometimes what you end up deciding you want to emphasize has changed by the end of the process than it did at the beginning. So a lot of people might have a working title that they are using to help them stay focused, but then at the end of the process, you'll want to revisit that title to make sure it's accomplishing exactly what you want. Titles, as with everything else in academic writing, as we're learning, also are deeply rooted in disciplinary context. The conventions and expectations and assumptions about titles vary within disciplines and also across disciplines. So if you are writing for a particular journal or for a particular kind of discipline or for a particular teacher, you might want to think about what titles he or she or the journal or the editorial board, what they're familiar with, so that you can then make a choice. It's okay to go against the grain, right? If you want to have a title that looks different, that's fine. But at least you know that you're making that choice, right? And you're making it from an informed perspective. Effective titles should be engaging. They really, if I come across a title and it seems really dry, I might make myself read what's in the article, but I'm going to be a lot less enthusiastic about it. And already then I'm going to be looking at the text from a position of kind of skepticism or drudgery or some negative feelings. And so you want the article title to be or you want your titles to be engaging. You also, though, need them to be informative because, as I said, scholars use titles in order to decide if a particular work is relevant or not for their research. It should be connected. It should be connected to what you actually are arguing. You don't want the title to inform them about something, and then when a reader gets within an article to find out that it's about something totally different. And it should also be connecting to key terms that are important. It should also be somewhat unique. You want your title to reflect how your particular argument is compelling and complex and unique, and stands out and builds off of and counters all of that great stuff, how it's situated within the larger framework of scholarship that has been written on a particular topic. Here are some sample titles that we can use to think about what makes for effective titles or not. And notice that three of them have this colon. Well, this one doesn't have a colon, it has a period. But anyways, what these three titles have in common is that they have kind of an engaging part at the front, the sweet spot, secrets of greatness, from tyro to virtuoso. I think these authors are trying to be inviting and engaging. And then the second half of the title tends to be a little more informative. The rule of high velocity learning, what it takes to be great, long-term commitment to learning. So readers can get engaged by the first part and then informed by the second part. This one is very informative as well. The role of expertise, research, and human factors in capturing, explaining, and producing superior performance. You can make choices yourself about the length of titles, how long or short you want titles to be, and you can decide how catchy or inviting you want that first part to be. Some people are resistant to the two-part title because they feel like it's been used so long in academic writing that just a formula at this point. It's still, popular, I guess, as these evidence. Be thinking about the titles for your projects throughout this course. Titles do matter. First impressions with titles do matter. So please deliberately construct and write your title so that it's as effective as possible.